I have a headache. I'm tired. I've never been through a year like this. Very proud of our team for just the resiliency that they play with. When you obviously when you have a guy like you coming off a 12-win season, you got Tune and Tank coming back. I mean, that expectations are going to get shot through the roof. College football is competitive and hard, and there's a lot of good teams, and there's a lot of people doing the same thing. And just it's competitive, So for us to get our 8th win, and for these seniors to get their 20th win in the last 2 years, I'm very proud of that. So I think today was like the rest of the year. I mean, it's cold out. I mean, for one day, and it just happens to be when we play, right? I thought we handled it fine. Conditions were tough, but and to be down at halftime again and to come back on a 2-minute drive and score is what the whole season's been about, So I just commend our guys for having a never quit attitude and being resilient, and creating a pretty special memory, which is, winning a bowl game like this. I'd like to thank the Independence Bowl. You guys do a phenomenal job. This is a really good bowl game. The hospitality is first class. The people are first class. The food was great, and the game was equally as great as well.
Raise your hand. We'll get you a mic.
It goes without saying that it was cold out there. How much did that play in this game? We saw 2 fumbles that y'all were able to take away, but was it like kicking a rock out there or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's football. You got to deal with it now. At the University of Houston and the University of Louisiana, based on geography, we don't deal with this very much, but it's a part of football. It's a part of December football. I mean, the bowl game last night was colder. The NFL plays in it all the time. So you got to be able to deal with it. You can't practice it because you can only practice it if you actually are in these conditions. It didn't have anything. I mean, we threw the ball fine. We caught the ball fine. Both teams handled it fine. There's heaters on the benches and all that. There's turnovers all the time. Turnovers were something that I made a big deal about, and it was good to see us create a couple of turnovers. That was why we hung on to win the game. Kicking is tough. That's probably the hardest thing when it's cold like that is the actual kicking. Their kicker handled it relatively good. I think he knocked in 3 field goals. Now that's a credit to our defense of holding them to field goals in the red zone. That's something that we focus on. Our first extra point didn't look very good, so I was not interested in as many field goals as we could attempt. So that's why we went for it on 4th down. And that's why I was telling this guy right here, we need to get the ball in the end zone here on this last drive. And he's as good as I've seen at it at making sure that happens.
Yeah, Coach. So 16 points before halftime, 0 after half. Shut them out the second half.
Yeah.
What was that primary defensive adjustment?
Creating turnovers. The 2 turnovers, took 2 possessions, where they didn't have opportunities to be able to score. So we played good. The one drive, they didn't look very good in the second half, but we created the turnover in the red zone. When we win games, we play good defense in the red zone, and we did a good job of that tonight.
Continue taking questions for Coach Holgorsen and the student athletes.
Clayton, if you had to script it any other way to throw that pass there to Tank at the end, suffice to say, is that the way you want to go out?
Yeah, that's exactly the way I, would have scripted it. It's, I saw the coverage. I saw, Tank out there. We had a play called to him, but I saw leverage for a better route, and so he saw it too. And just I knew I had all the faith in the world that he was going to win on the route and catch the ball and get in the end zone. So it was an easy decision for me. I just put it out there and let him do the rest. So couldn't be happier with the way it happened.
Clayton, can you talk about your time at the University of Houston and what you're going to remember the most?
Man, it's been awesome. I've grown so much and learned so much and been around so many great people. And just the experiences that I've had have been, I wouldn't trade them for the world. So, I've learned a lot. There's a lot of things I've learned. I think the biggest thing is just how to deal with adversity and, just keep pushing forward, keep moving forward. So I would say that's the main thing. We've had some adverse times this year, this season, and the best way to handle it is just to keep your head down and keep moving forward. So.
Hey, Tune, since you're on the mic already, would you say that touchdown going into the second half maybe build some momentum there and I guess set up what was an eventful second half for y'all?
Yeah, I think it did. I think that's the kickstart we needed on offense. We're struggling a little bit. So we needed a big play and something good for us to happen to kind of get us going, get us in motion. And Keyshawn made a really good play that, helped us and set it in motion.
It seemed like every time they called holding on y'all, it really helped y'all because y'all threw for about 30 or 40 yards. Just talk about the dynamic of that, like 1st and 30 and second.
Right.
It kind of worked great for you.
Well, we scripted that. So I was wanting to get as many pass yards as I could. So I was like, here on this play, hold so we can go back and I can throw it further. That was the whole part of the plan. But I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Adversity, when you're faced with adversity, you got to overcome it. So that's the whole mindset and the whole mentality. So.
Tank, you've told us stories about wanting the ball in certain situations and asking Clayton, did you ask for it on that one? And can you just kind of sum up what, that play and how it sums up your career here?
Yeah, so during that play, like before the play happened, I gave Tune that look. And he know what that look means. So I gave him that look like I want the ball right here. So he just set me in motion and gave me the ball. So and that happened.
I want to make a comment on that. I told y'all a couple days ago that he was going to call a lot of the plays just based on, his familiarity with what they're going to do defensively. He changed that play, right? And so that's what makes this relationship so special. Is he saw leverage. They just kind of got these goofy looks and signals and stuff like that makes it work. So this is the nation's leader in touchdown receptions. He needed one, he got two, so that's a huge accomplishment, man. And yards. Did you get your yards? I think he got the yards. I don't know if you got the catches.
Nah.
Didn't get enough catches, but the leader in the nation in touchdown catches and yards, that's because these guys got a pretty special relationship.
And what was the original call?
It was a corner. He had a corner out to Tank, but the leverage wasn't there. Okay, so he changed it, but he did a lot of changing it from passes to runs and runs to passes. He did a really good job. Excellent play caller today.
Any more questions?
Clayton, and I'll give a shout out to my guy, Corey Diaz. Earlier this week, you told Corey, I've grown to like Shreveport. It's cool and it has a lot to offer. We just had a mayoral election. We're looking for a mayor for a couple months. You're done with football now. Is that a position maybe you'd like to take over?
He's not done with football.
I'll be pretty busy for the next few months, but Tank Dell is your guy.
Tank Dell is not your guy.
He's pretty good. He's a politician, so he's your guy.
Partnering.
I'm be going too.
Art, he mentioned earlier about what the defense did in the second half. Can you just kind of take us through, how you guys came out of halftime and sort of, did what you did?
Oh yeah, halftime. Honestly, we just felt like we was being outplayed as a whole unit, and we just had to come together and just finish the game. And that's something that we've been preaching to each other all year. So it was just nice to put a whole, just one good half together and just finish the game.
Clayton, can you talk about what you saw to change that play? I know Coach mentioned leverage, but also what it means to you to win the MVP of this Independence Bowl.
Yeah, so like he said, we had a corner route called, and we went that versus our specific leverage, but they actually showed something different. The corner was playing off, so he could have gotten under that corner route. So I changed it just to a quick out, and I knew that he'd beat the guy. He had outside leverage on the safety guarding him. So I knew he'd just run up, pat his feet, and break out, and it'd be an easy touchdown. And as far as winning the MVP, it's really special. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be here and play with these guys. I couldn't do it without them. I couldn't do it without the O-line and the receivers and running backs and tight ends and coaches calling plays. So, it's really special, but I really owe it all to them to, put me in that position.
For the players, when you're playing in a game like this, in the back here now, in a game like this with the elements, how hard is it to adjust when you're off the field? Because, usually when you're off the field, you're going over stuff. Is there more of a focus on just staying warm as opposed to adjustments? Like how much of that plays into it?
Me personally, I'm trying to go stay warm. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm trying to stay warm, but we also make adjustments. Like the coaches will come to the heaters and tell us like what we need to fix and stuff like that. But yeah, you got to stay warm.
Yeah, we do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
we make adjustments standing by the heater.
Yeah.
I just want to say to you that the headline I was going to use is Houston is singing a new tune at the Independence Bowl.
I love it. I love all the last name puns. I've been getting them all my life. I love them. I love them.